Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K. Reno and DJ Rec.
I guess this starts the show, Legends 34. This is episode 31, man. We got a lot to discuss, a lot of ground to cover. It has been a hot minute, man. A lot of new success stories as far as Houston teams, the Texans, the Rockets. There's a lot to unfold, a lot to get into. But I guess we always start with the Rockets. First things first, I always give a shout out to Nice Graphics. Man, he always makes it happening. My kid's band is happening, and he's going to get some new promo going. We got new promo going for Legends 34 as always. Always a good shout out. He can make it happen. Nice graphics. Anyway, man, the Rockets. This last loss was a little disappointing, but it was a back-to-back. And I know that maybe we're showing some of these veterans' age, what few there are, but
you know why I don't agree with that, because they went from Houston to Dallas, which is a 40-minute flight, and they blowed the team out the night before, and then the starters didn't play in the fourth quarter. There was no excuse to lose to Dallas. Dallas didn't have Gafford, Lively, the two big men was out, and Klay Thompson didn't play. You're not supposed to lose it. Even without LP, they supposed to win that game. That was a bad loss. And, we talk about all the time about, the Rockets possibly being contenders, but see, games like that are what let me know they're not contenders. They'll go deep maybe, but OKC is not going to lose that game. OKC is blowing everybody. They're not on the level of OKC yet. They're just not. They've turned the ball over 20-some times. Still got to get a point guard. So it's just, when I look at it from a fan point of view, I'm glad of where we are. But realistically, about championship, they're not there yet. They're not there yet. OKC is the freaking gold standard right now. They're killing everybody. 24-1. That's crazy, man. I just can't see nobody beating them 4 times.
And to give some personal reference, right? The Rockets had a 22-1 record season in 93, 94.
Yep.
I think that one loss was to Atlanta. I think it was 15 in a row. Atlanta, same situation, back to back. Got off the plane late, whatever. But anyway, that's rare air, man. The territory they're in, and they're setting a high bar. Who knows where that? And their arguably second best player hasn't even played yet.
He's back. Williams back. But the thing with them is that one of their best guys or two of their best guys could sit out. They still win. If Chet Holmgren doesn't play, they still win. If Jalen Williams is out half the season so far up until recently, they still win, man. So when they bring these guys back and get everybody, like the other night, they blew somebody out the other night, and Caruso didn't play. Hardenstein didn't play. So when their key guys are missing, they don't miss a beat. They still killing people by 20, 25 points a night. So that's the Rockets are still looking up as far as being on that standard. And, they got to get there, man. If they want a chance, they got to get there, because it's clear who's going to have the best record in the NBA and home court throughout, just like they had last year. It's set. So to win the championship, somebody's going to have to beat that team 4 times, and possibly that last time being on their court. I don't see it happening, But I've been wrong before.
Again, we have to loop back to last episode about the point guard situation. And now, always their trade winds are swirling, possible Trae Young with Atlanta. Now this whole, I have to call it as it is. I don't know how much of this we would like to talk about on the show since it's not really local, but still, Chris Paul was a Rocket at one time, and now this situation has reared its ugly head with the Clippers organization. And even though they say he's not part of the team, but they can't officially move him until, I forget,
15.
but When?
The 15th of this month, which is
15th.
next week. So,
What are your thoughts on this? If is it possible to bring Chris Paul here? Would you want that? What do you think?
well, I was one of the people saying in the offseason that I wish we could have got Chris Paul to be Fred's backup. Now, once Fred was down, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Chris Paul would plug in perfectly. To me, would have been perfect at the starter. But with this recent situation and the conversation that's coming out behind it, I still wouldn't mind having a stabilizing presence like Chris Paul on the squad. But he has to tone down that mentality of, I guess the best way I can describe it, picking at people. You know, you got to get out of people's ear, man. You gotta be selective with that. You got to know, okay, when to tell this guy to do this. It can't be a constant chewing on people's ear, especially 20 years in the league. You're not the same player no more. So I would love to have what he brings to the table on the court, but I fear him coming down here and now he's picking at Amin Thompson. Now he's picking at Jabari. Now he's messing with Reed Sheppard. It's not going to set right with the personalities that we got on this team. We got some young dogs who ain't going to be trying to hear all that. We're going to respect them coming in, but, bro, come in and just be that stabilizer, man. Be that stabilizer. Speak when you have to speak, when it's necessary, because that goes further. If you always chewing somebody's ear, after a while, people are like, man, all right, man, I got to shut up. But if you pick your spots, it goes further, man. So, hey, man, the Rockets are one of the candidates of the team that people are saying where he could land. And I think just as far as what he does on the court, I think it would be a perfect fit. Holding people accountable, all that's cool and fine. But we got guys to do that. We got a coach and a coaching staff that don't have no problem doing that. Fred, even though Fred have even played, Fred is a voice that they still listen to. Kevin Durant is there, you know. So Amin and all those guys, they becoming leaders. You know, you good, bro. You good. If you come on, but tone it down, man.
Yeah, I think if he can get along with the coach, he'd be good.
Huh?
If he can get along with the coach, I think he'll be good.
I see, and that's the thing. See, and you heard the rumors. You know, they were saying he was undermining Ty Lue, and you know, Ty Lue would call a certain play, or Van Gundy would call a certain assignment, and he'd go back and tell somebody else, "Don't do that, do that." You can't do that. I don't care. I don't care what you were. I don't care what, you can't do that, man. You can't do that, you know, and it wouldn't fly down here. It's not going to fly in Houston. I can tell you right now, this coaching staff, he would be in and out of here in a week if he tried to pull that with Ime, you know, and I wouldn't want to see that, you know. If he came down here, I think that would put him and us in a really good position. He's not going to be playing, he wouldn't even be playing 18 minutes a game in my just estimation, just me guessing. He would come and play 15 minutes a game, you know, just coming in, being a stabilizing force at that point guard. The Rockets turned the ball over way too much, you know. So to have a guy like CP that could come down and those turnovers will go down immediately, they will go down. But he's 37, 38 years old. He can't really guard. He's smart enough to get away with knowing how to guard without being overly exposed. Can't score like he used to, but he could still be a presence, a stabilizing presence, man. But you got to read the writing on the wall, bro. Don't come. And even if it ain't the Rockets, wherever you go,
right?
Chill, bro. Chill. You can't do that no more. You get away with that when you still the man. Can't do that, man. People don't want to hear that. And I love CP. A lot of people don't like Chris Paul as far as the game and get injured. People still mad at him from the Harden day when he pulled his hamstring. You know, I really feel like we would have won the championship that year if he don't get hurt. But
well, I mean, I can't say the first stint with the Clippers, right? They did have some success. I'm talking about Chris Paul and the Clippers, right? But outside of the Clippers organization, correct me if I'm wrong, he has been successful wherever he went.
everywhere. I
Like
totally
he's led
agree.
the Phoenix, he's led these teams to the playoffs. Like the one year he led them to the playoffs in the Phoenix, he wasn't even up for the MVP vote for that year. It was just, I'm still astounded by that. Like he wasn't even a nominee, but yet he came to the Suns and led. No, I'm thinking the Thunder, right?
Oh, the Thunder, the year
Who
they
was
played
before
the
the
Rockets.
Suns?
Yeah,
Thunder.
yeah, right. He got traded straight up for Westbrook,
And
and the
but
Rockets beat them in the first
with the
round.
Thunder, they were successful, right? He
He
turned
turned
them
around.
around.
Yeah,
But
he turned around. And see, and that's the thing. He's a winner
correct.
who just has not won the championship, but he is a guy that everywhere he goes, the team gets better because he's that good of a player. He has that high of an IQ to where, like I say, the Clippers. We all know the Clippers been the laughing stock of the league since forever. He made the Clippers relevant back in those days, those
That's right.
Blake Griffin, the Lob City days. He made them relevant, and like you say, OKC, and just last year, even though they didn't make the playoffs, he started and played all 82 games for San Antonio last year. You know what I'm saying? So at that age, 20 years in the league, he started and played all 82 games last year.
You know
So
what's funny though? I'm imagining from what you're saying about the
the
he probably saying the same thing we saying, but about himself to everybody else, like constantly, like, "Hey man, I did. He got a checklist. I did this. I did that. I did this. You should listen to me." Instead of like leaving all that to us,
yeah, but the problem is,
right?
the problem is that
Even though he's right.
everything he's saying is right, but that big one is not there. And that big one is the ring. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. I'll give you a comparison. Let's take a dude like Fred VanVleet. Fred came to Houston, helped change the culture along the coaching staff, guys like Dylan Brooks, who's another guy who affects winning everywhere he goes. Man, I miss Dylan Brooks. But that's another subject.
Yes.
But when Fred comes down here now, when Fred talks, Fred got a championship ring to back up when he's saying something. Fred is not the player that Chris Paul was. Fred probably won't even make the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. But Fred can speak from a champion's perspective, just like Jeff Green can speak from a champion's perspective, just like now Kevin Durant can speak from a championship. So if you're trying to tell me how to win and how to improve in certain areas and make it to this level from this level, then okay, Chris, I totally got you. But you can't tell me nothing about winning at all because you ain't never done it. And the reality is, when him and Devin Booker, they led Phoenix to the final. They had DeAndre Ayton, they had a good team, they had Bridges, they had a good team. But the reality is, Phoenix was up 2-0 in that series and lost the next 4. So he didn't close, and Drew Holiday was on him like skin. So people forget that. And like I say, I'm not downgrading because like I said, I like CP3. I'm not one of the people that just despise his game and all that. But the reality is, I'm saying at this stage of your career, it would better suit you, especially if you already announced this your last year. You said
Right.
this your last year. So sometimes you can become your own worst enemy. You have to be able to harness your own mouth to say, you know what, I'm gonna ride it out. Not to say I don't care, not to say I'm gonna let people I'm not gonna hold people accountable, but I'm gonna be selective when the time comes. So like I said earlier, it can be received better, bro.
Well, it brings up another poignant subject here. We've talked about Reed Sheppard many times on this show, and I'd like to see what your thoughts on we got now that we got a more of a sample size, right? But here's what's thought provoking. I think he's played his way into some sort of trade bait, right? And if that is, would you do it? Like if he can ensure you a good point guard to lead this team to the promised land, do you have enough sample size of Reece Sheppard by now to make that decision?
Yeah, the
What are your
league, the
thoughts on
league,
that?
the league does. The league has seen this man go off. He had 31 on the road against Golden State. He's had some 20-some point games. He's another guy who's figured out how to play defense without being a great on ball defender. He knows he's got great hands. He can reach in there, get steals. He's
Block
anticipates.
from behind. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
that type of stuff. So it covers his deficiencies up in defense. Now the problem with the statement is that who's the point guard that's out there?
Right.
Because I would be down. Yeah, I would be down to say, okay, yeah, Reece Sheppard name. I would take phone calls on Reece Sheppard. He's playing so well now that you might say, okay, well, hold on, wait a minute, let's hold on to him for a little while. But he's not a person that I'm gonna hang the phone up on other teams. If a
Right.
team calls me about a Man Thompson, I'm hanging the phone up. You call me about LP, I'm hanging the phone up. But if you call me and say something about Reece Sheppard, I'm like, okay, what you talking about? Because it would have to be a point guard. It would have to make sense. If it's something that is not going to be a game changer for this team, that was okay. When we get this guy, we right there with OKC. If it's not that, we might well stand pat with what we got because who could it be? Look, Dame Lillard's out for the year. He's hurt. Halliburton's out for the year. And I'm not saying those guys would even be in the count, but I'm just throwing out names. The other guys are not going nowhere. Jalen Brunson ain't going nowhere from New York. You know what I'm saying? So Kyrie, when he comes back, middle of the year, but do you trade with them? Would Dallas trade within the division to make Houston better? All these questions are things you gotta, think about, but I don't know who's out there. I know they take calls, but I don't know. And if it ain't nothing out there that makes sense, keep him and keep developing him.
Right. I guess more or less I'm pointing out where if this was the same Reed Shepherd from last year,
Oh, he
I
gone.
don't think I'd be asking this
Oh,
question, right? But I
yeah,
believe
he's
he's
gone.
played his way into a, if you want to call it a Goldilocks zone, right?
Yeah.
Where he's kind of, you can buy or sell. Like, you could see the Rockets staying pat with him, but you can see, like you're saying, entertaining phone calls that he might be a piece you could move to get something really good in return, whether that's a point guard or not. But, which is unfortunate and fortunate for him. Like say he gets traded to a team where he's going to get a starting role. I really believe I could be wrong. I was wrong about Cam Whitmore.
Uh, and watch this. Watch this. I'm glad you said that because, like I said, boy, if they could have packaged Jalen and Cam Whitmore to Phoenix, and we could have got Durant for those two and kept Dylan Brooks,
Oh boy, yeah,
I like our chances. Now that changes everything when you talk about matching up against OKC because you got another big wing defender who's fearless, can score. Dylan Brooks averaging 20. Dylan Brooks is putting up all-star numbers this year.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I watched him tonight defeat Minnesota. And see, if they would have been able to slip Cam Whitmore into that deal to convince Phoenix, hey man, we got this two young dynamic guys. Both these guys are early 20s. Give us Durant for that. But I don't know if Phoenix requested Dylan Brooks or if Houston just threw that in maybe in the panic mode, like we got to get a little more value to get KD. But man, Dylan Brooks with this unit,
Yeah.
chances, man. I like our chances, bro.
No, I totally agree, man. And it's again, we'll see what Reed's going to do. I guess part of me wants him to stay. I mean, he's come a long way since last year, man, as far as
Well, you
his
hit the
skill
nail on
set.
the head. They in a danger zone now to where he's in that middle pocket to where if you trade him now and he just become Steve Nash now, you're gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? So if it's nothing out there that's just gonna be a no-brainer, you gotta keep him. You gotta keep him right. You gotta keep him for right now. Ain't no moves to make.
I'll tell you
I'm
another
thinking
player,
around the league, I can't think of nobody that's even out there.
and another player that I believe has played maybe himself into that same area, if you will, possibly. Like if some big, again, I'm talking about some big trade like Giannis, because I hear
Yeah,
those trade winds are swirling, right? So Jabari Smith Jr.
yeah. I'm not trading Jabari at all
I
because
don't either, but he's played. He is really ascended, man. Playing next to KD, and
right,
I'm
and that's
afraid for
why.
that.
And you can't teach 6'11", bro. I like being a big, tall team. And we are wisely. The Rockets are not taking a lot of threes this year. They
Yes,
are probably bottom in the league in terms of attempts, but
correct.
they are up high in terms of percentage because they take the right threes. So I'm saying all that to say Jabari is one of the few dependable three-point shot makers that we have on the team. So if you trade Jabari, even if he was in a package to get Giannis, Giannis is going to clear out three of our core guys if they was to make some kind of deal for Giannis. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's going to be Giannis. I mean, it's going to be Jabari, Tari Eason. It's going to knock a wing off of the building. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And like I said, when those guys are on the ascension of their development, where they starting to come, usually a player starts to really hit their stride and come to their own in that third year, that fourth year, that zone. It took Jabbar, this is his fourth year, so he's starting to come. I'm watching him do stuff he didn't do or couldn't do in years past. Certain moves, he's bigger, you can clearly see the size. He's feeding off KD where his confidence, he watches KD's aggressiveness when looking for a shot, and Jabari ain't hesitate. He get that bad boy, he putting it on the floor, he raising up. He got the same skill set in terms of once he elevates, the defense is dead. Now he don't have the handles, he don't have the side to side, but once he gets in that position, it elevates, can't nobody block his shot. So I don't want to play with him. Somebody put something on ESPN the other day talking about Al P for Giannis. I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do it. If you're trying to get a quick, just add water championship, sometimes that works, man, but really a lot of times it backfires, man. It backfires, bro. This nucleus they got, we should take a page out of, which seems what we're doing, out of OKC's book and just hold tight to these young guys, man. I don't know. Maybe you could see this, look it up or whatever. OKC might be the youngest team on average to ever win the championship. Them dudes average age in early mid 20s, so they have defied the normal logic of the NBA where, okay, these young teams can't win. Nah, man, we gotta hold that core, man. We gotta hold that core.
No, I agree, man. And the Rockets are young as well, and
Yeah.
they're trying to make it work, without a point guard. And
Yeah,
whether they
they
make a
gotta
move
fix
or
that.
not,
Yeah. And they don't have to be no splash. Like I said, they got to be no superstar point guard. That's not going to happen. But it got to be somebody that can just keep things steady. We can't turn the ball. I watched that Dallas game. That was a stretch where they turned the ball over 5 straight times. And I'm like, I just don't believe an NBA team should turn the ball over 5 times in a row. I just don't believe that. It's like you are professional. 3 times in a row is the max. 4 is like, come on, bro. 5 times in a row, bro. See, when you get to 2 turnovers, that's when a point guard goes, okay, hold on,
right.
no. He calms things down. It's no way you turn that ball over 3. And Amen Thompson's been running the point, doing the best he can, but his handle and his decision making is not ready yet. Because he would be a perfect 6-7 point guard if he had the wherewithal of a Kane Cunningham or somebody like that. But that's just not who he is yet.
So no Trae Young, no LaMelo Ball, no.
I can't say no, but it's not. And think about this: those guys are great stabilizers, great point guards, but the knock on both of those guys is they don't play no defense. And you come down here, you got to play some defense. Which I mean, of course, with the other production that they bring, okay, it'll be kind of like a Reed Sheppard type of thing. And okay, yeah, we'll figure out how to hide them in the defensive scheme. And Trae Young's assist to turnover ratio is pretty decent. The knock on LaMelo is that he plays great, but he don't take the game seriously. He don't care if he win or he lose, which is hard for me to believe that. But yeah, I mean, any of those guys will be an upgrade, but those are all-star players. So again, how much of your team are you clearing out to get that guy? You giving up 2 or 3 guys to get one of those guys? Hard to say.
Yeah, that I see. I got some of these Dallas highlights running here from that game. Again, Jabari had a good game playing. AD was back and playing. I think this is a second or third game back.
Yeah,
Anthony
and that
Davis.
dude, I'm so disgusted with it. He always shows up just in time to play against the Rockets, and he plays amazing against the Rockets every single time. Every single time he just plays, no matter who he playing with, he gonna have a great game against the Rockets. But he'll be out soon. He'll be injured again soon.
Right, he's
Not wishing that on him though at all.
Chinese
No,
porcelain,
no,
huh?
yeah, but
But
it's true. He'll be injured again soon.
Dylan Brooks, that was great. Had did a tribute to him before the game. Things
Yeah.
got a little emotional. That was great because again, a tribute to what a great player he was for the Rockets, and boy, that would have been
Man,
awesome to keep him. But he had a great game against the
if
Rockets.
you get a tribute after only playing 2 years, you
Right.
made an impact, bro. He was on the team 2 seasons and got a
Oh,
tribute. So I mean that's strong, and Jalen got one. Jalen was here 4 years though. But yeah, Dylan is the piece. But in a perfect world, we figure out a way to trade back for him.
there you go.
Man, bring him back, man. Bring him back.
Give them Reed Sheppard, huh?
Oh, without a doubt.
Load them up with guards, huh?
See, and see his value because he can see like here's the deal. What Dylan was for us the last 2 years is what they are trying to have in Josh Okogie. And Josh Okogie's been real good. He's been decent. I don't have no knock, but he ain't Dylan Brooks.
Right.
And Josh Okogie, great defense, great on-ball defender, knocking down the corner 3 so far. They say he couldn't shoot when he came in, but he's shooting pretty good. But that dog, you know what I'm saying, that's going to disrupt the game, getting people face, get a tech every now and then, get the other best player riled up, that's not who Josh Okogie is. And he's been a good piece, but man, it's hard to replace what Dylan Brooks. If we had Dylan Brooks and Fred, I'll be like, yeah, come on, OKC, let's dance. Let's dance. I would like our chances to get down with what we already got.
I think that's about all I got for the Rockets. That you had something.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready to get into these Texans, man. I'm ready to
Oh
get into
boy,
these
yes, yes,
Texans. We
yes.
talked
So
about this game
let's
yesterday.
uh let's start off with this, huh? Hold on.
Long, and again, they absolutely had to have. And there was no better example of that than the depleting of Rasheed Rice.
He's helping protect his Mahomes. On a mission searching, finding Russ.
Oh my God.
Push the ball complete.
Dude, have you ever in your life
Look, and they tried.
flop
They
like that
was trying to
after?
say that wasn't clean.
Oh, that's clean, dude.
Yeah, that
That.
was
Oh
straight
boy, yeah.
shoulder pad to shoulder pad.
That's textbook.
That dude, yeah. Trying to
That's
say
your
that.
job. You're supposed to do that right there. Yes.
Yeah. The Texans, man, look, I'm gonna say this, and this is what I've been having on my mind really the last few weeks. Man, this offense got to get it together, man.
Oh
Because
yeah. Oh,
it would be, man, it would just be a shame to
to
waste
waste this
an
defense.
all-time great defense like this because the offense is so far behind. And don't get me wrong, there have been moments in history where great defensive teams have been so great that it didn't matter. You remember when the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson?
That's right. Sean
And,
King,
and when
Warren Sapp.
Baltimore won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, you know,
Right.
these were offenses that were not that great, but the defense was so dominant. You could even make an argument.
The
with
85
Jimmy Mann.
Bears.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy Mann wasn't no hell of a quarterback.
Right. He
He's just a
yeah.
personality. But man, and mixed in with this, it's a good chance that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson won't even be in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, man.
And those have been the
surprising.
two teams that we just can't beat.
And Joe Burrow.
Yeah, right. So, and Joe Burrow's been, up and down. But so it's lining up to where if they can get this thing together, you basically have to worry about Buffalo because you always got to worry about Josh Allen, regardless of how good they looked against
Right.
Josh Allen and Bo Nix in Denver. Those teams, you still got the Pittsburghs, you still got Jacksonville, which I feel like we cleaned their clock and we faced them in the playoffs. But the bottom line is this is a perfect season. If it was any time where you could look at the landscape and say, the Texans really got a chance to sneak into the bowl. Now, I don't know what would happen if they was, and then the NFC, maybe they would be better than the NFC on the other side. But as far as the path to get there, this is probably the best I've ever seen. As far as just the easy side of it. So, I mean, if the offense can just get it together, man, they got to get it together, man.
5 in a row. It's easy to be biased, but the facts, the stats back it up. They are number 1 in the league. Points allowed at like 16 a game. They're number 1 in yards allowed at like 274, something like that. Oh, no, 260, I believe it is. But you held the Chiefs to 274, I believe, which was a feat to us. Sounds like 100 under their normal, total yardage. And another thing that I want to bring up, like these, like ESPN and the aftermath of the game, and they were talking about how much the receivers missed catches, which they have showed kind of a track record of that on many games up into this game. But dude, come on, give the credit where it's due. Those receivers were scared for their lives, man.
On the swivel.
The House of Pain is in effect, dude. It's like, yeah, go ahead and catch the ball. We want you to catch the ball, and we're going to administer pain. If not 2 guys, 3 guys at one time smashing you, man. It's to the ball. It's ferocious. It's aggressive. It's violent. I like that word that's been circling around. It's smash mouth football the way it's supposed to be played, as long as you ain't trying to maim nobody, right?
Sometimes you drop a pass because you just drop a pass. You can take your eye off the pass because you're trying to run before you catch it. Sometimes there's a reason why you drop that pass.
That's
because
right.
You bracing for a hit, or you looking around for the guy that's going to hit you, and in turn it makes you drop a pass. Like the one Kelsey dropped. If you look at the hit he took.
Yes, his eyes almost popped out of.
Yeah, and he caught him right flush in the torso. The same thing. So
Bryant, yeah.
These guys and they interviewed Will Anderson Jr. after the game, and he made a point that I think was a great point that I hadn't really thought about. He said, I'm paraphrasing, he said traditionally defensive backs, cornerbacks, those guys, they not known for being big hitters.
Right.
Just throughout history. But these dudes we got, these dudes will hit you. Our cornerbacks will lay you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's no weak spots from the front to the linebackers to the secondary. It's just no weaknesses in this. It's no easy spots to go, you know? And
they lead the league in I think it's quarterback rating, lowest or tied second, right? It's just that much pressure that quarterback completion rates are they lead the league in lowest, man. They just
Mahomes QB rating yesterday was like a 19, bro.
Worst of his career.
19, bro. That's unheard of and especially for the guy who, if they did a poll even right now, the whole league would probably vote this guy to be the best quarterback in the league. You know, so you hold him to a 19 passer rating. He was 15 for 30 something, only 160 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And this the greatest guy in the game, 3-time Super Bowl champion already. You know, and as bad as our offense looked at times, CJ Stroud outplayed him.
Right.
You know, and with CJ had his moments where he could have been better. I blame a lot of that on the play calling. Nick Caley, it's the 3 straight 3 and outs to start the half, 3 or 4, whatever it was. You know, that's inexcusable, man. You know, that's inexcusable. Change it up. Do something different. You know, and CJ get a lot of hate because I don't think a lot of people are in tune with the intricacies of the game in terms of how much play calling affects what the quarterback does, how much scheme affects how the quarterback looks. And, you know, if they can get that, if they can tighten that up where this man could look halfway what he looked like in his rookie year, it's going to be over. It's going to be over.
Yeah, and I want to point out something that, you know, again, applaud this defense and the coaching staff because here are these 2 great quarterbacks, Josh Allen, his strength, running the ball. What happened? Texas eliminated that and sacked him 8 times. Paper or plastic, what do you want, right? Now Mahomes, his strength is throwing the ball. He did get some scrambling going, but man, they intercepted him. You know, I wonder what the record is, how many times the most times he's been intercepted, because that was 3 times. That got to be
This was the first time that he had 3 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Okay.
Three interception game with no touchdowns. And like say you said, with a 19 passer rate, I know he's never done that before. So, and the running, he had to run, you know, and he did a great job of like the broadcasters were saying, situational running, which is what you want your quarterback to do. You don't want your quarterback just to be running. You want your quarterback to be a situational runner. Like if I got to go and get these 4 yards, I'm gonna get out there and get them. And he did that because he saved a lot of situations for them by doing that. But I don't want my quarterback out. That's how CJ got hurt early in the year.
Right.
You know, it's like if my quarterback has to run that much, with every run, it increases your chances of getting that pop that's going to have you sitting down for a few weeks. So they did a great job on Pat Mahomes. And I loved it because, you know, early on, I saw a few calls that I was like, uh-oh, the refs finna start trying it.
Yeah.
Like outside they called, they said the guy was in the, no, he wasn't out. When they showed it from the side, he wasn't outside, you know, so I thought that the refs would try to play into it, so I was like, we need to get a big lead, because if this thing gets too close, the refs gonna have something to say about it. But no, they did exactly what they had to do on the road, 20-something degree weather. Nobody's talking about that, you know. So in 2 weeks, you went on the road, defeated what was at that time the first place team was the Colts, and then the following
More on that later. I got something on that, but yes.
and you followed it up with beating Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. And I don't want to hear nobody whining about, well, he didn't have 2 of his offensive line. We ain't had offensive line in 3 years. So I don't feel sorry for him about not having, because one of their linemen got hurt the first play of the game. And the
First
guy
snap,
that they brought in, the rookie that they brought in, he played great. He played.
To be
he did a good
undrafted,
job
I
on
believe,
field,
yeah.
huh? Yeah. So I don't want to hear nothing about crying about their offensive line. We the ones need to be crying about our offensive line.
Right. But you brought up the Colts, and I cannot help because, you know, I hate the Colts, and I'm going to dance in the turmoil here and the chaos that has befallen this organization as of late, right? Wow.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
Fallen into catastrophe here. But here's a note, right? If you can catch this story this morning. Mr. 10 Kids himself, yes, that's right, he's got 10 children. Phillip Rivers at 44 is going to try to lace him up and try to help the Colts save their season.
He's coming back?
That's what they're saying, right? But of noteworthy, right? Yes, the man has 10 kids, and I was curious about that. I was telling my daughter, she goes, "You really got 10 kids?" Like, yes, he has 10 kids. You know the record? Sean Alexander, him and his wife just welcomed their 14th child. Sean Alexander, running back for the Seahawks.
I'm not even mad at him. Look, bro, you married. You ain't spreading baby mamas all around the world, paying all the child support. Hey, man, that's your wife. Or even if that's just your girlfriend and y'all got 10, 12, 14 kids together. Look, the bottom line is I respect the woman more than I respect the dude. You done drop 14 of them. Hey, man, salute to Phillip Rivers' wife, and salute to Sean Alexander's wife, man. Hey, be fruitful and multiply.
I was about to say the same thing. Not only that, I don't know if you watched the Eddie Murphy documentary, and he said something so poignant about his 10 children that if your decision in life is your children, right, then you can never make a bad decision. I think something like that. He said something like that, which tells me this man has spent a lot of time with his children. Like, I mean, what you're supposed to do, right? But unfortunately, we don't get a world like that, especially with celebrities and people, like you said, having many children, different situations, different mothers and
you're not prepared, or you make the bad choice of a mate, and that's male and female, and you're not in a position financially, to have that many children. If you made, I'm sure Phillip Rivers has made at least $100 million.
Oh yeah.
In his day. So if you 10 children, you should be good. It shouldn't be a problem to have 10 children. And if you got the money to support those children, it's when you don't, But I wanted to ask you a question because, like I say, I'm a CJ Stroud fan, but I'm a guy who I'm a realist too. And one of my biggest knocks on CJ is that he holds the ball too long, and that's probably the biggest knock. He wants to make that big play. He's starting to learn to check down more, and just take what the defense gives him. But I was like, man, you know what? This man get all this criticism, but if you really think about it, CJ Stroud in his third year, not even a full completed third year, 2+ years, he's probably already the best quarterback in franchise history. So the reason I say that is because I was looking at some stats. I was okay, in 2.5 years, he's already 4th on the Texans all-time passing yardage list. He's already number 4 in 2 years. Schaub had more time. These guys played 6, 7, 8 years.
Right.
Sean, is up there. He's going to pass all these dudes. But the stat that really got me, which I already knew what his numbers was, I didn't know what everybody else was. He's already got more playoff wins than any quarterback that ever played for the Texans. He got more playoff wins than Deshaun. Deshaun got 1 playoff win. Schaub got 1. Nobody has over.
Schaub got 1?
Yeah, Shaw got one. Yep.
Are you sure
Freaking
that was the one that he was hurt in what's the one from you
Shaw. He got one. He's played in two and he won one. You gotta understand, Brock Osweiler won one.
was that it? Or somebody came in because Schaub got hurt and we had that playoff game and I think we won, but what's his name? We played for Reggie Bush. He played with Reggie Bush.
Yeah, now, are
The
you thinking
quarterback that
about
played
Matt
with
Leinart?
Reggie Bush in
Leinart.
college.
Yeah, Matt Leinart. Yeah,
Matt Leinart,
yeah,
yes.
but Matt Leinert's not on the list. The Texans have. I'm looking at it now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 7 playoff wins in their franchise history. 1 win by T.J. Yates. One
That's the
win
one
by
I'm thinking
Matt
about.
Schaub.
Yes.
So T.J. Yates, yeah.
Yes.
1 win by Yates, 1 win by Schaub, 1 win by Osweiler, 1 by Deshaun, and is and 2 by C.J. Stroud. It's showing that Davis Mills got a playoff win, but I don't remember that. I don't know what the now. He played in a playoff game. He didn't play but one
Right.
one snap. But yeah, but this man already has who would be considered the best 2 quarterbacks outside of CJ. It would be Matt Schaub and Deshaun Watson. His playoff win total is already equal to theirs
Right.
in 2 seasons. So when you get to all this criticism, okay, that's cool. Yeah, criticize a guy if it's warranted, but put things in perspective at the same time, man. Because what were you expecting from CJ? Were you expecting him to win a Super Bowl this year and last year? They weren't even predicted to go to the playoffs his rookie year. And then last year, okay, the expectations were up a little bit, but they started slow. I think they were 0-2 last year. And they turned it around. He left. So I'm like, what are y'all expecting from a dude only 2 years in? And he's already accomplished more than anybody in the franchise. So I just wanted to give CJ his props because there's a lot of CJ haters out there who expect him to be Joe Montana in his second year. And the numbers show in crucial moments or in times that he need to get it done, that for the most part he does. Winning record, 2 division titles in 2 years, 2 playoff wins. Come on, man. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Nah, good point, man. Great point. And
He's already the best quarterback this franchise has ever had. Can he get better? Yeah. Is it some stuff he need to tighten up? Absolutely. Do he mess up and make mistakes? Yeah. But who don't?
Right.
I wanted to talk about Shedeur too, man.
Yes.
Before we close out, because what they did to him yesterday was, and this what cracks me up about some of these coaches.
I'd like to do a recap first, right? Because I was talking to Ashley about this.
Yeah.
This man went in the 5th round. All these teams passed on him. Yep. Even though his dad is who he is, even though he did what he did in college, all these teams passed on him. And now he's getting his shot in Cleveland. He's telling them, I was the one you waiting on. Look at this. Not only that, this dude threw for 42 attempts yesterday. Now you tell me you tell me somebody throws in an NFL game 40 times is not an NFL quarterback. There's people that play entire NFL careers going to throw the ball 40 times. There's so many positives to take away from that game and the game before that. But yes, man, I'm glad you brought him up because I was going to bring him up. This is just, and then that last play of the game, I'll get you take it over what you're about to say. Go ahead.
Well, to your point, yeah, Shedeur is a pure passer, man. He's not a super athletic quarterback like a Lamar who runs and all that. He's a pure passer.
8 different receivers yesterday.
300 plus yards.
People we never even heard of. Like, who the hell's Harold Hannings Jr.? Like, that is a mark of a great quarterback already, man. But sorry, go ahead.
But what gets me is that these coaches who either they don't care because their money is guaranteed if they get fired, or they've already been made a promise that, hey, man, your job is safe, because it's no way in the world I'm going to play with my livelihood by trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders and set him up to fail the way it looks like Kevin Stefanski is doing? Because everybody talks about the last touchdown where they went for two and the fact that they took Shedeur out and ran this bogus Wildcat play. Everybody talks about that. I'm talking about more so the touchdown before that, where they went for two when they didn't have to, because an extra point only pushed you down by 7. So they went for two just for no reason. Now you have to go for two, and you don't even have the guy in who has been leading the charge. So my thing is not necessarily about Shedeur, because we saw what he did. It's about how incompetent these coaches are, because it's like, what will make you do that? What will make you even? I could not like a player. I could be a coach and I could say, man, I'm just not big on that guy. I'm not big on this kid coming in. But you can win me over. I can be like, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I kind of like him now. It's kind of like the Reed Sheppard conversation. It's like,
Right.
okay, you start playing, you'll win me over. So I go all the way back to Jeff Fisher and Vince Young. And it was a similar situation. Jeff Fisher never liked Vince Young, never. And so they try to put these guys in positions where they can't succeed, and you only destroying your own career behind that. So I don't know if the man is trying to sabotage Shedeur or not, but trust me, they already called him for his head. They already called him for his job. And if he ain't careful, you better let that boy go. You better let that boy loose and let him play.
No, I couldn't agree more, man. And you got a defense like that, and you got a guy like Myles Garrett. You have arguably right there with the Texans, one of the great defenses in the league. But all these years, you don't have that guy. And even Myles Garrett is saying, hey, man, this is the guy. You know what I'm saying? But if not, yeah, they get the same situation there. That offensive whole management's got to get the hell up out of there, man, and get the right coaching in there for a young kid that can literally lead this team to the promised land. From what we're getting a very small sample size, but it's everything that was been hyped up to be, knowing that this dude went in the 5th round and who his dad is. But
well, who his dad is part of the reason why he dropped like that. Because see, they don't like that confidence. They will equate the confidence as cockiness. He's too cocky. He's too arrogant. It's like, no, that's just supreme confidence. So when you express that verbally in the press conference, when you express that verbally to the media, then they don't like that. It's like, well, who does he think he is? We'll show him. We'll knock him down a few pegs and teach him a lesson. That boy confidence wouldn't shook. He was just like, whenever my turn come, And see, so this is why I knew it was some BS, because I said early in the year, if you got a team that's basically in a rebuild stage, a freaking NFL version of a lottery team, you got 2 rookie quarterbacks that you drafted. Why are you starting Joe Flacco? Why are you starting a 40-year-old Joe Flacco like he's going to be the future, instead of saying, okay, look, Flacco's 40. His role is going to be to stand on the sideline with a clipboard, guide these young quarterbacks, hey, get in their ears, show them things they need. I'm not starting Flacco 3, 4, 5 games into the season like he's going to be the future. We're going to lose anyway. Let one of these young boys, whether it would have been Dylan Gabriel from the beginning, whether it been Shedeur from the beginning. So now what's happening now, it's going to really get tricky next year or later on this year, because now Deshaun is still on that team, and people forget that.
correct.
So Deshaun is still on the team, still under contract, and he going to be ready to go next year in terms of ready to play. So I'm wondering what that whole situation is, how it's going to play out when Deshaun Watson, because by all accounts, they saying Deshaun been around the team. He's been supportive and helping the quarterbacks help. So he's been a team guy, but I know in Deshaun's mind, he's like, psh, if I come back, I'm taking a spot from both of them. So, and it's going to be hard to trade Deshaun because of that contract.
Yeah, guaranteed. And it doesn't that apply to any
A lot
team
of it
that
is
gets
guaranteed.
it?
Now I don't know what's left on it. It's been a few years. It might be towards the end. I got to look it up and see how that's laid out. But that's gonna be interesting, man. You know, because if you the Cleveland fans, do you want to say, hey man, we need to just go ahead and ride with Shedeur for the future, young fresh face, or let's give Deshaun a chance, see if he can recapture some of his old glory. That they in a situation, they in a tough situation, but I guess they may look at it as a good problem, but that's a tough situation.
But on a side note, right? Fantasy football hadn't gone all that well for me this year. One team in
Oh,
particular, we have two leagues. In one league, I'm actually 1-12.
oh, dude.
But
Oh man.
the playoffs start next week, our playoffs in the fantasy. And I got Shedeur Sanders out of the trash can, the waiver wire, about 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
This dude had 65 points on my bench yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ride with him into the playoffs over Lamar Jackson because dude, again, 42 times, man. How do you not go down with your guns a-blazing? This is the guy, man.
I love a
Lamar ain't
gunslinger.
throwing the ball 40 times.
I
Hell,
love
he's
a
not even
gunslinger.
running like he used to,
No,
right?
Lamar ain't gonna throw the ball 4 times because he's gonna run 15 times, you know. But and see, and you know what? And again, that puts me back on my soapbox about like with CJ, because like when you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, you know, I think him and CJ may have the same. Now Lamar may have 3 or 4 playoff wins, but the point of the matter is Lamar Jackson's been in the league probably 7, 8 years now. He never even sniffed the Super Bowl. So for the people that don't like CJ but love Lamar, CJ is on a way greater trajectory this early on. It took Lamar a long time to win his first playoff game. You know, everybody's not going to beat Patrick Mahomes where you just come out the gate winning like that. Even Jalen Hurts, who's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, you know, but the people that everybody is so enamored with, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, these guys like that, these guys have been in the league almost a decade and have never even made it to the Super Bowl and don't have many more playoff wins than CJ. Might got 3 or 4, but this man 2 years, 2 wins. You know, I mean, like I always say, I don't know what we're looking at. I don't know what we're looking at. And boy, if he can get hot, at the right time, my biggest fear, I was telling one of the homies yesterday, my biggest fear now is please don't lose to the Cardinals or the Raiders in these next.
They could run the table, man. I mean,
they
seriously,
could.
with the rest of the record, they could run it.
See, three out of 4, you in.
Right.
You know, because they already in a wild card spot. You know, you go from division leaders, wild card, in the hunt. They've been in the hunt the last couple of weeks. They're in that middle spot now where they're actually in a wild card spot. But yeah, winning 3 out of 4. You got to get the Cardinals, you got to get the Raiders, and then you skip over the Chargers and just assume, okay, you got to beat the Colts. You know, Colts got some dude named Riley Leonard that's quarterbacking now.
Oh, they'll have Phillip Rivers by then throwing 50 times a game.
We'll roll his old butt out there. You know, his old 50, he about our age. So roll him on out there. But the point is, 3 out of 4, this is the weird thing about it. They've won the division the last 2 years at 10-7. If they win 3 out of 4, that puts them where? So what are they now? What are they now? That's
8-5.
8-5. That puts them at 11-6. That puts them at a better record an improved record from the last 2 years, and they started this season off 0-3.
Yep.
So, that's a hell of a run. And if they run the table, that's 12-5. They could possibly win the division again. We just need some help. We need Jacksonville to come back to who they really are, So, but they got a good opportunity to where if they can pull this, and we're getting way ahead ourselves, but if they can pull this division out, get another home game, who would have a better record? Maybe Denver. Denver's like 11-2, 12-2, whatever they are. I'm looking at where they would have to go if they were to win a home, because the last 2 years they won a home game, had to go to Baltimore. Last year, won a home game, had to go to Kansas City. Them two teams ain't gonna be there this year, unless something amazing happens and somebody collapses. So you looking at Buffalo and Denver. Don't sleep on the Chargers. Outside of that, man, we should be able to get, if the offense catches up.
Don't forget about the Miami Dolphins.
Well, they coming. Miami's coming. Miami was 1-5. Now
they trying to make a little noise. They whispering.
Yeah. But I wouldn't worry about a team like Miami if somehow they was to sneak in, But they wouldn't be. The Texans defense, man.
Yes,
we can't say enough of that. They're a nightmare. And here's another thing that we forget about as the year goes on, as the year has went on. It's about 3 games minimum that the Texans should have won.
Yes.
This year.
Barely.
They came one stop away from stopping Baker Mayfield to winning the Tampa Bay game. They had a couple of games early in the year where guys fumbled as they was driving down for game-winning drives. So that's 3 games. Yeah, and Nico fumbled. He caught one and fumbled one time. So at the end of the day, they could easily be like 11-2 right now, And the losses that they have suffered, they have not suffered they have been blown out all year. To my knowledge, I think the greatest loss was like 8 points. You can double check that, but they right there, and that's because of the defense, But they right there. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
You got a championship caliber defense, man. One of the best in Texas history. Hey, arguably one of the best in NFL history.
Yeah, they get mentioned with the all-time great defenses. But the only difference with the all-time greats is they close it out. They won the Super Bowl. Bears won the Super Bowl. Ravens won the Super Bowl. So that Pittsburgh Steel Curtain won the Super Bowl. So they get mentioned up there with the Giants in '86. Yeah, if they can pull it off, man. I don't want to have to rely so much on them, I don't want to win 10-7. Let's win 21-7. We'll see.
And it's worth mentioning, man, Davis Mills, right? Because that Jaguars game, he was thinking it up, and I was texting with a friend, Miguel. Shout out to Miguel. And when Mills came in the game, he shoots me a little gift because we call him E.T., right, with the neck.
Yeah.
So you shoot me a little gif of E.T., the extraterrestrial, whatever, he's dancing or whatever. And then when he did that, I was like, oh, man. And he started stinking it up. And I found a gif, remember in the movie E.T.?
Yeah.
Where E.T. was dying. He was all white and pale, and he was dying on the floor. Well, I sent that to him, right? And wouldn't you know it, dude, I can't make this up. That's when in the game, he turned it around and he started driving them dudes down the field, right? And then he ran in for that touchdown, whatever. And then the next game happened. I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it again. And then they won again. Like, the point is, like, it's good to know if something happens to Stroud, or we hope not, that we have somebody that seems to be competent now that can come in and at least game manage it enough, because we have, again, caliber defense that can take us there. it's good to know we have somebody at least competent now. I hope, if something was to happen.
No, you're right. See, I tell people all the time because when people are dissatisfied with the starting quarterback, the first thing they want to do is pull the starting quarterback and bring in the backup. Okay. Davis Mills is in his 5th year, I think now. I think this is his 5th year. He's at a point in his career now where he is a stable, competent backup quarterback who did his job, who did exactly what you expect your backup to do, and that's come in and hold down the fort. And the key words you use was words that I've used in conversations I've had: game manage. That's what you come in and do. You come in, you don't try to be too over the top. You do just enough to keep it to not mess it up. And that's what he did. So you got the Jacksonville game and you got the Tennessee game. Okay. I don't care if Bucky Richardson was the quarterback. You're supposed to beat Tennessee. Okay, so yeah, good job. The Jacksonville game, super impressive because, like you said, they was dead in the water. But Davis Mills, at that time, was 2-0 as a starter against Jacksonville.
That's right.
Now he's 3-0. So if that was going to happen with any team, it was perfectly set up to where the team that he wins. Davis Mills ain't got but 5 or 6 career wins, period.
Right.
And half of his wins against one team, Jacksonville. So great job. The Buffalo game, you got to give him 2 thumbs up. Even though, like I say, we know what the defense did, 8 sacks on Josh Allen and all, they did what they did, but he managed the game perfectly. The issue I had is, like I said, you have casual football fans who really don't understand the game. They think they do, but they don't. Because after those games, man, you got to leave Davis in there. No. You don't leave Davis Mills in. He's not. See, Davis Mills wasn't going to win that game last night. And I got to call it for what it is. CJ barely got through it. But CJ made some plays in that game, some throws, some rollouts, and on the run, running, going and acting up. He made some plays that CJ critics are not going to ever give him credit for. But Davis Mills did exactly what he's supposed to do as a backup. And if this season turns out any kind of success for the Texans, I would hope that people will look back
and remember this.
The 3 games that Davis Mills won when this team was 3-5, and he won those 3 games. Regardless of how the season ends, if they make it into the playoffs, regardless of how it ends, you got to give a man his credit. You got to give him his credit.
I think there was one. There's many plays, but I remember one off the top of my head. I wish I could pull up the clip, but I think it was Buffalo, and they were about to sack Davis Mills, but he got out of the pocket just enough to throw it away so it wouldn't be, intentional. Little stuff like that. Before he's getting sacked, if not fumbling the ball or he's tucking the ball, getting out of the pocket, and then throwing it away. Little nuanced stuff like that. You can tell he's grown, he's matured, and become that game manager. Right. So, yes.
That's exactly what it is. He sat on that sideline, and in my opinion, he's watched a lot of the mistakes that CJ makes, just being real. And he's like, okay, what would I do in that situation? Oh, I'm gonna take the check down. I don't have to make a home run play every time. Now what has happened, CJ have watched how Davis Mills is kind of managing and doing things. And you see a lot of that in him now that he's back. So that's what your quarterback group is supposed to be about. My backup is supposed to see stuff that I don't see, and my starter has to be humble enough to say, Okay, I'm gonna use that what he did, not just come in. I'm gonna do it my way. And no, you do that for the betterment of the team, and you also do that for your own safety. You know, plain and simple. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Again, man, credit to the Texans staff. I don't know if they've got their offensive woes figured out. I did see a graphic the other day. I think I sent you a link of Sean Payton, used to be with the Texans, and he was pointing out way less pressures this year, way less sacks. Still, they're struggling. They've gotten rid of a couple players, I think. Shuffle the deck around. Ursery seems to be still prickly, man. A lot of penalties.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully get him ironed out, but there is some improvement, it seems, even though it's hard to say that after watching that third quarter. Well, they went negative 2 yards in that Chiefs third
I
quarter.
blame the offensive coordinator though, because
Right.
after the second 3-and-out, you have to do something different. You got to run a different. See, they came out in the second half. They made an adjustment. Kansas City made an adjustment second half and said, "Okay, we blitzing. We bring in the house," and it worked for 3 or 4 straight drives. Where's your offensive coordinator going? Okay, this is what they're doing. If that first 3-and-out, he should already be making adjustments. Okay, I didn't make adjustments on the first 3. Okay, second 3-and-out, adjustment. Third 3-and-out. When are you gonna do it? So everybody got to help each other. The offense coordinator got to help the line and the quarterback to look better, and the line has to block, and the quarterback has to help the line look better, because a lot of times the pressure don't get to come if we quick out, get it out there fast. So it's looking like the offensive line is doing a better job than what they really are, because the quarterback's not holding the ball so long. So once they kind of figure that out, now it looks better. It looks better. And now when they kind of got some motion, with some action doing that, it backed that blitz off a little bit. Now it's we can't keep doing that, you know. But he just took too long to make the adjustment. Who knows if he even made it? CJ might have made the adjustment.
Not only that, it's not just wishful thinking. You see flashes. Like, what was it? What game they ran the reverse to Nico for the touchdown? Like, stuff like that, shocking. Like, oh wow, that's a different formation. That's a different whole. So they seem they have the capabilities of thinking outside the box at times, but yet you see those third quarters like against the Chiefs, and you just scratch your head. Like, we know y'all know better than this. How come you're not doing it? So
They don't do it enough. And see, and what happens is they hold on to the rope too long. It's like, okay, you keep doing this same play, these same schemes over and over again. It's like the defense knows what you're getting ready to do. The fans know. We at home watching on TV, we know. I sit in front of the TV, I'm like, man, don't hand that ball off. And first down, they try to throw a pass, incomplete, 2nd and 10. I'm thinking to myself, they getting ready to hand that ball up the middle to Woody Marks. And sure enough, Woody Marks up the middle. Now, keep in mind, most of those plays they ran on the running game, straight into the middle. Woody Marks had the toughest 63 yards that any running back, 60-something yards on 20-something carries, bro. You barely get him 2 or 3 yards a carry because you're not mixing up the run game. You running right up the middle where they shutting you down every time. Nothing to the outside. Nothing exotic to kind of throw the defense off a little bit. So it's just too predictable, man. You know, and like I say, the quarterback ends up getting a lot of blame for the crap that the offensive coordinator is doing. So
now we're in a one accord. I couldn't agree more, man. We've said this many times on the show. I mean, we're watching the games and we're yelling this at the screen like, this is so predictable. It's so predictable. We know what they're going to do. We see it. Well, the point is, if us couch potatoes, armchair quarterbacks know what they're going to do, what do you think the other team know what we're going to do? You know what I'm saying? They ain't stupid either. They watch the film. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We get down near the goal line again, mind you. By the way, they got down near the goal line. And I'm thinking to myself, I was here by myself. Usually I got somebody watching the game with me. And I thought to myself, they put Goomba Wally in here, man. I'm going to be pissed. And sure enough, here he come in the red zone. And I said to myself, this dude scored a touchdown. I'll cut my hair off.
Yeah,
And as you know, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, yeah. But you know what?
I'm
They
still in shock
they
that he
had to
didn't
put him in
fumble the
though.
ball
Yeah.
or something disastrous happened. He literally leaned over into the end zone.
He got in, but if you remember, somebody got hurt. I think Woody Marks got hurt to play.
Right.
They had to put him in. It wasn't no choice. But what my issue was the actual play of handing the ball to him, which have not worked at all this year. So I was like, why would they try that? It just happened to work. It just happened to
Yes.
work. They got away with
Thankfully.
it. Because guess what? Boy, if he would have got stopped,
Oh,
they'd have killed him. The
he
whole
gone,
team would.
man. There's no more
And I don't
opportunity.
blame him. I
Come
don't blame
on,
him.
man.
He didn't call his own number.
I
He
think
just
the
checked into
last
the
time
game.
he got that opportunity, he fumbled, right?
Yeah, well, that one time. But what I say about him, he a hard nosed dude, special team.
Yeah, yeah.
But in his defense, he can't call his own play. If that coaching staff and that offensive coordinator, if they put him in that game and say, we're going to hand the ball to you. The only thing that you can look at on his behalf is say, well, hey, man, you didn't get in. But he not going to say, oh, man, don't run that play. So, I mean, I don't knock him necessarily. I don't always agree with the decision to give him the ball in certain situations. I don't understand it. But you got to understand, Chubb went out early. Chubb was gone most of the game. Then when Woody Marks got hurt on that one particular play, we ain't got no more running backs. We got to put him in. And it just happened to work. Because that was like that wasn't no yard or inches. That was like 4 or 5 yards out. You know what I'm saying? That he ran that touchdown in. So
And let's give some props to Woody Marks, man. They went third round pick, man, and we were all kind of, well, we need offensive line. Why? But he has turned out to be such a weapon. And I have to point out, I think in the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken, he got that crucial first down in the fourth quarter both times
work
to
hard.
kill the game on a bad wheel. He's been hurt, I believe, both last 2 games on that ankle. I mean, that shows a lot of heart, man. That first down they gave him, he got it, man. I think the last
that
2
last
games
one,
he did that.
what Kansas City had called they timeouts, and I remember looking at the clock like, man, it's still a bunch of time, man. Like,
Right.
my worry was, man, this dude don't need but 45, 50 seconds. Talking about Mahomes. But yeah, when they knew that the Texans knew that if they got one first down, Kansas City couldn't stop the clock no more. And Woody Marks got that was a nice little 4 or 5 yard run that sealed it. So yeah, he's a workhorse. If they ever get a line, we'll see how good he's gonna be.
Right.
Yeah. But
Well, I think that's maybe we're getting to the home plate here. You got any other
nah,
thoughts
that's
on the
it. That's it.
NFL season?
I'm empty, man. I just wanted to make sure we gave the Texans some love and shout out to the Rockets, man.
I also want to give you some love on the people don't know you're
Oh yeah,
this is the comic book from last release. This is a variant cover actually of the
that's the first one.
one
Yeah,
episode.
we got the new one, Annihilation, coming soon. Annihilation, the Evil Machine, coming soon, y'all.
Any update on that? Any release dates? It's still in the works.
Yeah,
It's still in the works. You know,
yeah.
ETA.
I think we're going to print real soon, so it may already be going to print, but it's coming soon. It's already available for pre-order, so it's coming.
Will we get these for stocking stuffers, maybe, or it's probably we after Christmas?
Maybe I'll check with Dollar Bill to see what the timetable is, but it may land around that time. It may land around that time because it's still kind of early in the month.
Well, again, man, we want to thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, drop a comment, man. Spread the wealth. Tell your friends about us, your sports fanatic friends. We bleed Battle Texans red every Sunday. We love those Rockets and the Astros. We love them. We didn't talk about them much. We got in the off season right now, but they got a lot of decisions to make as well on this upcoming season. What they're going to do with Framber Valdez, what they're going to do as far as getting a team that can compete again. But any other messages, man, you're going to drop before we head on out of here?
Now, I think we good.
Well, all right, man. Thanks for tuning in, Legends 34, man. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.